In 2019, a woman in a gold jacket stood in the middle of Wall Street and filmed a rap video. She called herself Razzlekhan, the Crocodile of Wall Street. The videos were, by broad consensus, some of the worst music ever put on the internet. By day, she was a business writer. She contributed to Forbes. Her specialty, in print, was social engineering, how to protect your company from cyber criminals. 3 years later, federal agents came through the door of her Manhattan apartment. Because according to the United States government, the woman in the gold jacket and her husband were sitting on $4.5 billion in stolen Bitcoin. Not hidden in a vault, not buried on an island, sitting in a wallet the entire world had been watching for 6 years, on a public ledger that never blinks and never forgets. They had one problem, the same problem, every single day for 6 years. They couldn't spend it. This is the story of the Bitfinex hack, the biggest financial seizure in the history of the United States Department of Justice, and the getaway that never ended. August 2016. Bitcoin is worth about $600, and one of the largest exchanges in the world is a Hong Kong-based platform called Bitfinex. On the 2nd of August, someone got inside it. In the space of a few hours, roughly 2,000 unauthorized transactions drained Bitfinex customer wallets. 119,754 Bitcoin walked out the door. At that day's price, around $72 million. The market panicked. The price of Bitcoin itself dropped by roughly 20% on the news, because if Bitfinex could be emptied, anywhere could. And then Bitfinex did something that is still argued about today. It didn't collapse, and it didn't make the victims whole. It spread the pain. Every customer on the platform, whether their coins were stolen or not, whether they even held Bitcoin or not, woke up to find 36% of their account gone. In exchange, they got an IOU, a token invented on the spot called BFX. One token for every dollar taken, with a promise that someday, somehow, it would be paid back. And to Bitfinex's credit, it was. Within a year, the tokens had been redeemed or converted, and the exchange survived. So the customers were eventually made whole. The exchange lived, which leaves the strangest character in this story, the money. Because here is the thing about Bitcoin that the movies keep getting wrong. Every single one of those 119,000 coins was visible, sitting in wallets controlled by the thief on a public ledger that anyone on Earth can read. Investigators watch them, reporters watch them, amateurs watch them the way people watch a volcano, and for years, they barely moved. Stealing Bitcoin, it turns out, is the easy part. The hard part is the part nobody glamorizes, spending it. Every Bitcoin carries its history with it. The ledger records every hop, from every wallet to every wallet, forever. Which means the moment a stolen coin touches a real exchange, anywhere it can become dollars, with a name and a bank account attached, the trail lights up. Stolen Bitcoin isn't money, it's evidence that happens to have a price. So whoever controlled the Bitfinex coins began to launder them. Slowly, carefully, and in the end, according to the Department of Justice, using almost every trick in the book. The coins were split and resplit across thousands of transactions. They were pushed through AlphaBay, a darknet marketplace, to break the trail. They surfaced in exchange accounts opened under fictitious identities. They dribbled out as gold coins, as Walmart gift cards, as small, boring purchases designed to look like a normal life. Notice the scale of that. Billions in the vault. And the vault was leaking gift cards. In more than 5 years, only a small fraction of the pile was ever successfully moved. The rest just sat there in full public view growing. And it grew monstrously. Because while the thief waited, Bitcoin went from $600 to $20,000, crashed, and climbed again past 60. The $72 million theft became a billion-dollar fortune, then a multi-billion-dollar fortune, without a single coin moving. The most watched stolen money on Earth, compounding in a glass box. Now, while that wallet sat frozen in its glass box, the two people the government says controlled it were not hiding in a bunker. Ilya Lichtenstein was a tech founder, a startup guy with investor connections and a nickname, Dutch. His wife was louder. Heather Morgan built a whole public persona, the rap videos as Razzlekhan. the self-published economics of hustle, and the part you couldn't script, a column under her own name in Forbes, advising businesses on how to protect themselves from social engineering and cybercriminals. She was, per the Department of Justice, writing tips about cybercrime while helping launder the proceeds of the biggest exchange hack in American legal history. They lived in Manhattan. They posted constantly. They were, to all appearances, a slightly eccentric tech couple. Richish, but not suspiciously rich. Because that was the cage. The wealth on that ledger could be seen but not touched, and every attempt to touch it left a mark. Here's the detail from this story that should bother you. The 36% haircut. When Bitfinex got hacked, the losses didn't just hit the people whose Bitcoin was stolen. Every customer lost 36% of everything, overnight, including assets that had nothing to do with the hack. Because when your coins live on an exchange, they're not really your coins. They're an entry in the exchange's database, and the exchange's problems are your problems. The fix is boring, and it works. Your own keys offline, in your hand. A hardware wallet is how you do that. If you own any crypto, the link's in the description. The unraveling started with a takedown that had nothing to do with Bitfinex. In July 2017, international law enforcement seized AlphaBay, the darknet market the launderers had used to break their trail. And when AlphaBay fell, its servers fell with it. The internal records of the marketplace, deposits, withdrawals, account details, landed in the hands of investigators, which meant the hole in the middle of the maze suddenly had a map. What followed was 5 years of the least cinematic police work imaginable. Tracing. Analysts at the IRS's Criminal Investigations Unit walked the chain backwards, out of AlphaBay, through the clusters of hops, into the exchange accounts with the fictitious names, and then into accounts that were not fictitious at all. Accounts that touch real emails, real phone numbers, a real couple, in a real apartment in Lower Manhattan. And in January 2022, a federal search warrant reached into Ilya Lichtenstein's cloud storage account. Inside it, investigators found an encrypted file. They decrypted it. It was a ledger of the theft. More than 2,000 wallet addresses, together with their private keys, including the wallets holding the bulk of the Bitfinex coins. The government didn't just have evidence, it had the keys to the vault. On the 1st of February 2022, the Department of Justice quietly moved roughly 94,000 of the stolen Bitcoin into wallets it controlled. $3.6 billion, the largest financial seizure in the history of the department. 1 week later, agents knocked on the apartment door. The search, described in court filings, read like a satire of spycraft. Burner phones, a hollowed-out book, tens of thousands of dollars in cash, the props of a getaway that had been perpetually about to happen for 6 years and never could. Lichtenstein and Morgan were arrested on the 8th of February 2022 and charged with conspiracy to launder the Bitfinex coins. Notice what they were not charged with. Nobody was charged with the hack itself. 6 years on, the central question of the case, who actually broke into Bitfinex in August 2016, was still officially open. It stayed open for another 18 months. In August 2023, in a federal courtroom in Washington, both of them pleaded guilty. Morgan admitted to the laundering, to the fake identities, the gift cards, the gold. The government was clear about her role. She wasn't the intruder. Per the Justice Department, she joined the scheme years after the hack, and the couple's cooperation afterward was, in the government's own words, extensive. Lichtenstein admitted to something more. Standing in court 7 years after 119,754 Bitcoin walked out of Bitfinex, Ilya Lichtenstein admitted that he was the one who took them. He was the hacker. The whodunit that had hung over crypto for 7 years didn't end with a manhunt or a trial. It ended with a plea. In November 2024, the sentences came down. Ilya Lichtenstein, 5 years in federal prison. Heather Morgan, Razzlekhan, 18 months. 5 years for a $5 billion theft is a number that startles people. It reflects the cooperation, and it reflects something stranger, an outcome with almost no permanent victims. The customers had been repaid by Bitfinex within a year, and the stolen coins weren't gone. They were sitting in government wallets, worth by the week of sentencing more than $10 billion. The theft had been so unspendable that it arrived at the courthouse, intact and grown 140 times over. So here's what the Bitfinex case actually proved. You can breach the exchange. You can take the coins. In the narrow technical sense, the heist can work. And then the real sentence begins. 6 years with the fortune in a glass box. 6 years of gift cards and gold coins and burner phones, of being on-paper billionaires who had to watch every small, boring purchase. The ledger did not chase them. It just remembered every hop, every wallet, every year, and waited for one file on one cloud drive to come open. Here's the question I keep coming back to. If you woke up controlling that wallet, billions on a public ledger, every eye on it, how long would you last before you tried to spend it? Tell me below. And the takeaway isn't for thieves. It's the 36% haircut. If your coins live on an exchange, the exchange's problems are your problems. Your own keys, offline, in your hand. The hardware wallet link is in the description. Next week, the golden boy of crypto, a founder in shorts, an exchange worth $32 billion, and the week it all turned out to be one missing balance sheet. FTX. Subscribe so you don't miss it.